Let's talk about nested conditionals. So nested conditionals, like they might sound, are a conditional within a conditional. So in this case, we have our conditional if x is greater than 0, and within that, we have another set of conditions. If y is greater than 0, do this, otherwise do this. So the spacing is important and helps the readability as well, because you can see here's your outer if and here's your outer else. And within these statements, there's also if else. And these are nested. But let's try running this with a couple different values. So we'll paste this, and we'll say x is 2 and y is 2. So in this case, we would see this first conditional. X is positive, so we go into this body here because it's true. X greater than 0 is true. We then check, is y greater than 0? It is, y is 2, so we go into that body. And then we print the statement. We don't continue on, we're done once we've got to here. Let's say y was negative 2. Well, we enter this body because x is positive, it's true. In this case though, y is not greater than 0, so we skip this next line and go straight to the else statement. And this is covering all of your other conditions, and it will be true, and we will print fourth quadrant. And what this is just think of it like a Cartesian plane. If x is positive and y is positive, you're in the top right, and that's what we're calling the first quadrant, and so on. So this is an example of a nested set of nested conditionals. One comment too is that there's no limit. You can keep nesting as much as you want. To end this video, let's talk a bit about libraries and about NumPy. So modules and packages and libraries, there's a clear distinction in Python between modules and packages. Libraries, a bit less well defined about some of the differences between libraries and packages, but in general we would say the module is the smallest, and then package, and then library. And modules are just files which have Python code in them, Python files, and they might have different functions and statements, and you can import these modules and use their functions. Packages are just collections of these modules, and libraries we would say are maybe some combination of modules and or packages. And the good thing about Python is there are so many different libraries that you can use that will help you with all sorts of things. So in assignment 1 we have pandas, but we should also be looking at NumPy. This is just a very short introduction to what it is, really. It stands for Numerical Python. And since it isn't built in, we would have to import it. What does it do? What's it useful for? Well, it's useful for lots of higher level math, but it's also useful for, it has something called matplotlib, which is a really great for plotting all sorts of different graphs. And we'll see some of that as we get into NumPy. So we have types for our variables. We have integers and floats. But NumPy has a whole set of its own types that you could go look at as well. So for example, we have NumPy float 32, we have float 64, and so on. So just be aware that generally NumPy is for numerical methods for mathematics and things like this, and it's also really good for plotting, and it has its own data types. And just sort of keep that in mind as we get further into the course. But for next class, I'd like if you could read Chapter 5, and that's going to do it for this set of videos. If you have any questions, again, feel free to email me or ask your TAs or the other students in the forums. That's it for now. Take care.